everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to look into what's going on in Spain, very recent news, as well as United Kingdom, especially the British countryside that I had the pleasure to visit some years ago, especially Cotswolds, the Cotswolds area, which is really beautiful, but it might change in a very near future. It looks like there is a government plan to make the British countryside less white. We're going to look into it. I also want to address the Epstein files and share with you my personal thoughts and my personal opinion about it, because as many of you know, this is something that has been now circulating all over internet, and not many people are prepared for certain images, recordings, or information they are not prepared for it. They are not able to digest it. So I want to address it from my personal experience. And before we start, as always, thank you so much to Patricia. Patricia, thank you so much for another donation on PayPal, as well as Barry. Thank you, Barry. Also another donation. Thank you so much for your constant support, and to everyone who is ordering my book as well. The book number 1, I said in the last video that book number 2 is being printed right now. So soon you will have it ready. I will present it to you. It's actually, I think, one of my favorite ones. And everyone who's joining me on Patreon and locals as well. All the links you find down below in the description box. So let's start. Today I will be playing a lot of videos from Instagram because they are short, they are to the point, and I think we're gonna start with this video. We're gonna start with Spain, guys. Let me show you right here what's going on if you're not aware. I mean, everywhere in the world there is something going on, so it's almost hard to keep a track. First, let's look into this one. So thousands are marching into Spain from Africa, and the government is giving them the right to stay. Europe is watching as borders are ignored and control is lost. The decision could change everything, and fast. So let's take a look at this. You don't need the sound for this, really. This doesn't look like an AI to me, actually. It looks like legit video recording. And that is easy to believe because here is another video from Spain with some numbers. Let me find it. I have a lot of videos here prepared. So Spain plans to regularize 500,000, so 500,000 undocumented migrants, with long lines forming at the Barcelona consulate. Supporters call it necessary and humane. Critics warn it opens the door to free movement across Europe without public consent. And this is just one video. This is really on the massive scale at this moment. Now let's go to another one. It's crazy, though. It's absolutely crazy. Here is another one. This is all from Spain. And this is, including Gran Canaria, Tenerife Islands, Spanish islands as well, not just the land, the part of the continent. So those are all experts, right? The engineers. Let's read this. The newly arrived unaccompanied minors, and only men, I mean, where are women, right? Surely know that the extreme leftist globalist government approved by decree the legalization of residence of over 500,000 African doctors and engineers who had arrived earlier. In the spring, they will become foreigners with legal residence, even though they entered illegally and concealing their identity. The next step will be citizenship. This is EU citizenship, just a reminder. and voting for the left. In a few years, the new arrivals shown here will also become full-fledged voters of the parties that will bring more new Africans, and so on until the complete ethnic and cultural transformation of the population. So now let me take you to a video with, I think he's a bishop, I'm not sure, let's see if he's a priest or a bishop. I have it somewhere here. Thank you for your patience today, everyone. Let me find it. He will give us his opinion. Here he is. So let's take a listen. He's a bishop. So let's take a listen what he has to say.
Of the immigration of overwhelmingly Muslim population to Europe, it is orchestrated very clearly by powerful political elites, by the European Union, with a special concrete agenda, which is to de-Christianize Europe. And with the help of the presence of Muslim population there. And they are growing, there are more children and so on. And they are already introducing in Europe, in Germany, in France, in Italy, in those schools where is a considerable presence of Islamic students, they are already introducing the prescriptions of the Islamic religion and in public life also. Now Germany already starts now to appoint imams as so-called chaplains for the army. We see this is a systematic Islamization. Of course, these people are not guilty, but they are bringing their convictions very strong on their religion. And this is a danger for us to weaken the Christian tradition and heritage, especially in Europe. And so we see this is a concrete political agenda.
And of course, we know this, all of us on this channel and many other channels as well. But there are people who still don't know it. And there are people who don't know what is the Kalergis plan. I've talked about it videos ago, so just go on the main page of my channel and in the search place, put Europe Must Fall or Kalergi Plan, and you will hear about it. Because this is exactly part of the plan. One of the main steps for the Messiah to come. So you know exactly what I'm referring to. Since I am on the topic of those little heads people, I'm not surprised at all because I've showed you this again many videos ago. Those of you who are watching me frequently, you are really up to date with these things. The new mayor of New York City, Mandani, I think it's his name, he was visiting the grave of the Rebbe, and he had a meeting with, who? Those who worship certain beings. And here is another situation now, because his mother looks like was highly involved with Epstein situation. So I'm going to play this for you, but first we're going to read it. Zoran Mandani's mother, Mira Nair's first husband was a Jewish photographer, Mitch Epstein, from 1981 until their divorce in 1989. So here the post says that she was married to this photographer after meeting him in a photography class while studying at Harvard University. That's a good one, right? For all of those. Epstein was an American photographer and her first husband. They married around 1981 and later divorced in the late 1980s. Okay, so 89. Around 1987 and 1989. After their divorce, Mira Nair married scholar Mahmoud Mamdani, and they had a son, Zoran Mamdani, who is now the mayor of New York City. So let's look into this video. Not surprised at all. I showed you part of it actually before, but this is coming out with those Epstein files lately. this, okay? Now let's go to United Kingdom. United Kingdom is going through an absolute transformation into something that I don't know what's going to look like. And this is the country that I really used to love. Many of you know, many years ago, I was even considering, debating, thinking about it, moving to London, moving to the UK, even British countryside, that I found absolutely beautiful. So now it's not going to be as beautiful anymore, it looks like, unfortunately, because if this plan comes into existence and will be executed, there is a danger that all of those who are seeking some refuge from the craziness of the cities in UK and are moving to the countryside, especially to the Cotswolds area, will experience something similar, just in a different environment. So let's take a listen to this video in which you will hear the plan that has actually been, I don't know if it was on the shelf or it was on the pause. It was waiting on the standby, and now it's going to be executed. So let's take a listen. What's going on with the British countryside? It's too white.
Good evening. I think we might be finished as a country and probably an entire continent. There are plans in place to deliberately make the British countryside, quotes, less white. Now, wait until you hear how mental this is. The Chilterns National Landscape team has set out proposals that include community outreach schemes to attract more Muslims to the area, particularly from nearby Luton, apparently. They're going to recruit more diverse staff and publish advertising material featuring ethnic minorities and write them in, quotes, community languages. What, so adverts for the Chilterns in Urdu, Bengali and Arabic, is it? And they also want dogs to be kept under tighter control because some groups are scared of them. So because perhaps some people from, say, Somalia are scared of dogs, rural British folk now have to keep them on a lead, do they? Malvern Hills National Landscape in the West Midlands said, many minority peoples have no connection to nature in the UK because their parents and their grandparents did not feel safe enough to take them or had other survival preoccupations. It added, while most white English users value the solitude and contemplative activities with the countryside affords us, the tendency for ethnic minority people is to prefer social company, family, friends, and schools. Can I just say, if I was an ethnic minority, I'd find all of that quite offensive. But anyway, let's just think about the two places named so far. We've got the West Midlands there, we've got Luton. They have entire areas that are basically non-white in those areas. Huge levels of immigration from Pakistan. A mosque leader in Birmingham helps to appoint the chief constable of West Midlands Police. Even years ago in Luton, elements of the local Muslim community held this huge rally. Hands off Muslims!
Hands off Muslims!
Hands off Muslims! Everyone's got a right to protest, but I found their chanting provocative and extreme.
British police go to hell!
British police go to hell!
I saw you look naked on the street.
Do I look naked? Do I really? I don't look naked.
You're trying to seduce.
No one's trying to seduce me, and I'm not trying to seduce anyone. You shouldn't judge me how I try not to judge you. You are. You've just said who am I trying to seduce? No one.
I said I am doing.
Well, I don't judge you because I'm above that.
My ex-husband invited me to his wedding. Probably one of those polite gestures where he expects.
So the Chilterns National Landscape area wants to attract more people like that to the British countryside, do they? The British countryside needs those people, does it? I'd like to start a diversity scheme aimed at making sure white people feel safe in areas of Luton and Birmingham again. I mean, how about that? How about that? Near the Lake District in Cumbria, they're building a £2.5 million mega mosque. I mean, there are actually hardly any Muslims there, and it is designed to help bring Muslims to the local area. Now, you know, again, it's not as if people aren't trying to do this stuff already, is it? Nearby, a council refused a planning application for a small children's home because they thought it might cause noise and disturbance. But a £2.5 million mega mosque in the area is absolutely fine, is it? Now have a look at what the Church of England has announced today. The Church of England has launched a new diversity drive, encouraging clergy to give more sermons about diversity and anti-racism. Places of worship will additionally be allocated resources to assist refugees and asylum seekers, whilst being expected to advance diversity within leadership positions. The Church of England seems to have learnt absolutely nothing. They were accused just a couple of years ago of being a conveyor belt for illegal immigrants to fraudulently stay in Britain. But if you think this is bad, just look at what has happened in Spain. The government has just allowed more than 500,000 illegal migrants to have residency in Spain. And here's what reportedly happened immediately outside the Pakistani consulate. Interesting, isn't it? Queuing up for their residents.
So guys, I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I have a lot of viewers from the UK, and I have some viewers from Spain as well. But if they are moving to Spain and they are going to get the citizenship very soon, this is the same like they would go to Portugal or any other countries around, so France or any nearby country, right? Once they get the EU citizenship, they have EU citizenship, so they can travel freely, right? Common sense. Now, let's go into the Epstein story. First, I want to address it, and then I'm going to play 1 or 2 videos that I have left here for you. All those files that has been released, and this is probably not everything, just part of it. I am not really diving into it for a few reasons. I have it recommended when I am on Instagram, for example, because I shown the interest before and I clicked on the videos. So now you see the algorithm is picking up. And some of the images that I'm coming across are something that I have actually seen, or some recordings that I have heard in 2020. And I want to speak about it just briefly because it might help some of you who never seen or never came across the amount of evil that those images, especially images and recordings, to have. When Shmowitz took place in 2020, it was my so-called awakening to certain things that now I wouldn't say made peace with what took place, but I made peace with the weight of the knowledge, okay, if that makes sense. Meaning, it was very hard for me as an empath, as someone who still feels, and this is, I think, what defines us as human beings, to have ability to feel compassion, love, care, and simply not be okay with other people or animals, any form of suffering, right, of others. It was very hard for me to come across those things, what has been done to children, how this was done, how they were abused, how they were, I don't even know what the words to use in English. I don't know the words, you know, like they have been, their bodies has been cut into pieces, and some was consumed and some was whatever. Even talking about it is not easy. So I already came through this point of being aware, and it was very hard on my nervous system. So now I am not diving deeper into those things, because when you see it, you cannot unsee it. There were certain movies or videos that I knew, my intuition told me, if I click on it, if I watch it, it will stay within my psyche forever, right? It's almost like engraved in your awareness, in your consciousness, and I didn't want that. So I came to the point when I knew I know enough and it's bad enough that I don't want to know more. And I know that a lot of you are coming across of those things for the first time and you're questioning if this is fake or real. I believe most of it is real, and it's not something that is easy to digest. But at the same time, I also know that any form of healing starts first with acknowledging the problem or the issue. So in a way, to some extent, we have to face the truth in order to heal and make different choices, I guess. If this is going to be punished, if those people who are involved in it will ever be punished, I don't know. To be honest, I think probably few of them will be, but the involvement of the politicians, movie stars, people of certain status, right? Financiers, even, like other islands, for example, Richard Branson Island, Necker Island, that's the name. There is involvement. It's not just that island, right? Epstein Island. But there are other aspects as far as Epstein goes and his connections. And I came across this video. This actually is a recording. He's talking about Peter Thiel, the Palantir guy. So I might play this for you because this is a different angle of those Epstein files and the connections, because all roads, again, blue and white brick road story and the tiny heads story. So let's take a listen to this recording. He's talking to ex-Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, who allegedly, or maybe no longer allegedly, but he was a frequent visitor of the island. And he's talking to him about contacting Palantir founder Peter Thiel. So let's take a listen, guys.
Two cyber companies. Look out, and even though I know Peter, I've never met Peter Thiel, and everybody says he sort of jumps around and acts sort of strange, like he's on drugs.
Smoking, yeah. He looks under drugs.
However, he has a company called Palantir, Pallen Tier. Palantir is Peter Thiel's company, and look out.
Palantir, Palantir.
Yes.
How you write Thiel? Thiellly.
Thiel.
Lly.
No. Thiell.
Okay.
So he thought that Peter would put you on the board of Palantir. Peter Thiel is one of the best. I've never met him. He's going to come here next week. So I wanted to talk to him after I talked to you.
Okay.
He and Andreessen, it's called Andreessen Horowitz. Andreessen Horowitz, they pay Larry $1 million a year just to advise them.
Andreas and?
Andreessen, Andreessen, and Horowitz.
And Howard.
Horo, Horowitz.
What they are? It's a lobbyist. What they are doing?
They are the biggest venture capital people in Silicon Valley.
What, bigger than Sequoia or Kleiner
These are
Perkins?
these are the new Kleiner Perkins. Everybody, these are the smart boys. So those two companies right away, in terms of, I said that we need now in the next 3 weeks if you're going to leave.
So again, there are so many layers to it, but ultimately all roads lead to, the country that should not be mentioned, as well as to the demonic entities that possess those people. They have ownership of those. They are not even humans, right? We know that. But it's not just the aspect of human trafficking, it's the aspect of other financial connection, and it's the aspect of the power of how you make sure that the plans they have, this is how I look at it, the plans regarding the so-called Messiah return, what are the conditions that has to be met? And again, you know, it was Epstein aware of it. I think he was not, I believe he's absolutely, in my opinion, still alive, probably somewhere in Israel or in the Middle East, where he's living right now. That's my opinion. But, you know, I have to say that for someone who cannot even spell correctly and be in the position that he was, so make no mistake that the majority of people who are connected to it are on the same level. And when you think about it, so those are the people in so-called power, and they are deciding about the existence of other people, right? Like this one, for example, here, you know, doesn't matter Republican or Democrat, is still the same approach to supporting a certain place.
For aid to Israel, all the aid that Israel needs. I will continue to fight for it. And we delivered more security assistance to Israel, our ally, under my leadership than ever before. We will keep doing that, everybody. It is so important to give Israel what it needs and to protect itself from the many in that difficult region who want to wipe Israel off the face of the map. We have to do everything to do that. We have to do everything to ensure that the delicate ceasefire secured last year paves the way to lasting peace, where people can live side by side, as many have mentioned, in a two-state solution. The fight for aid to Israel.
So as you can probably see in this part here, this was taking place 2 days ago on February 1st this year in New York City, speaking at an event at the Jewish Community Relations Council of New York on Sunday. US Senator Chuck Schumer said we will continue to, quote, fight for aid to Israel, all the aid that Israel needs. We delivered more security assistance to Israel, our ally, under my leadership than ever before. We will keep doing that, everybody. It is so important to give Israel what it needs. That's what he said. So it doesn't matter what side of the coin they are at or in or on, I don't know how you say it, still the same approach, still the same mindset. That's all I have for you today, everyone. I will attach the links down below in the description box. And before I end this video, if you appreciate the content, I ask you to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. As well as if you choose to support my work, the best way is to join my Patreon, become my supporter there. You can also join a locals or donate on PayPal if you feel like. But I want to one more time emphasize, be very wise with choosing where your attention and your energy goes and how much of your attention goes, especially nowadays, to those Epstein files. Because besides the aspect of knowing, it's gonna bring your energy down and it's affecting your health, your nervous system, and over your well-being. So be careful with this. Make sure when your intuition tells you don't look into it or stop doing it or don't continue on it, because you know how social media is created is to get you, right? And to make you addicted to certain things and you become obsessed with it. So be very careful with this. Try to stay present and do other things, not to be fully occupied mentally by it, because it's very draining and many of you already know stuff. So I don't think you really need to know more, or don't go deeper into it for your own sake. That's what I will say. Thank you, everyone. Lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, guys.